So I'm gonna give them a call.
Cool.
Somebody else is joining. How are you?
How you doing?
What's up, Doron?
What's up?
So we're gonna give a few minutes to the
Yeah.
other join.
In the meantime, I wanted to introduce you to, this is Doron Kutash from the Source Network. We do like regular daily shows, and this is one of them. And Gabriele is one of the founders of TimeRepublik.
Hi, Doron. Nice to meet you.
Hey, great to meet you, brother.
Where are you?
Ventura, California.
Okay. So you woke up early too.
Where are you at?
In New York.
New York. Okay, cool.
You look Italian, Doron. Where are you from?
Just from Ohio, USA. Grew up with mostly Jewish upbringing, but Jewish Christian.
Okay.
So I've got Eastern European and English, and all sorts of backgrounds.
Hi, Daniela.
Hello, good to
Hi.
see you.
Hi, Daniela. I'm Gabriele.
See you.
Loving the hair. Wow.
Yeah, I love your hair too. It's very majestic.
Very good.
Big hair, don't care.
I like
Actually,
Dakota.
interesting. I never do this. I actually went bartending yesterday. I don't do this for over like 10 years. But I did not shave. Like, I totally went my hippie self. Those people at the bar are like, "Oh my God, she's so hairy." I was like, "I know, so good." Thank you. Good
The
seeing you all.
70s are back, so it's okay.
The hippie movement rises again. I know.
Let me see. Let me look at the list. We'll wait a few minutes because
People are often pretty late. Let's hope at least a few show up, though. Yeah.
we're almost. Let me see here. We have one. Let me see. Yes, I think we sent 2 doodles out, Dakota. We're confusing people, I think, but okay. Easy.
As long as we sent out one Zoom link, it should be okay. But
Yes. Doodle. So I have Dimitri, Nirdara,
what's up, Pam? Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Pam. I see. Okay, Daniela, where are you?
Where in the world are you coming in from, Danielle?
I'm sorry, what did you say, brother? You. By the way, you guys are kind of. Oh, I don't know if you should shut it off or something.
We're a little choppy.
Yeah, here and there.
Okay, we'll try to speak slow.
Yeah. We're asking where you came in from, Daniela. Where in the world are you now?
Oh, I am here in South Florida, Hollywood, Florida.
Cool.
Where you guys at?
I'm in New York City.
Awesome. I have a New Yorker right here with me.
So Pam says that she's available in text. Let's see. Do you hear us, Pam? Okay, perfect. So we'll give a few more minutes to see. Supposed to have like 600 people, but
Hey, what's up, Keegan?
Oh, Keegan.
Keegan has a sword.
Keegan.
Like
He's at the Bali. New Earth.
What's up?
Yo!
Hey, Keegan, how's the new Earth?
Hi, buddy.
I saw you on camera a few times.
it's frozen, I think.
Yeah, internet dropped out.
It is awesome and most epic. And there's going to be an unveiling of free energy technology tomorrow. called the Cutie Pie.
Ooh.
All right.
I hope it's mass produced, or at least mass producible by.
Sasha Stone and Michael Tellinger together.
Oh, cool! That's a powerful alliance right there. Well, we're about 5 minutes into it. We want to start the show and see who maybe joins us while we're in the middle of it.
Sure. So I don't know, Dakota, if you want to start or if I should start. I think that most of the people here are familiar with what you're doing, or...
Yeah, I actually usually like to let Doron start. He's got a cool little source network talk intro thing. Do you want to do that, Doron?
Sure. We are recording. Okay, great. Welcome to, well, it's not really, this isn't just the source. This is the source. This is Awakening Sovereignty Collective. This is TimeRepublik. This is, I just put a couple invites over to United Earth and Guardian Alliance. Maybe they'll be popping in. Welcome to Collective Wealth Stewardship with the focus on time stewardship. As TimeRepublik is going to be bringing it today. So we're super excited. What else can I say?
Cool. Thank you, Doron. And maybe if we could just get like a round of introductions. My name is Dakota Kaiser. I'm coming in right now today from Seattle, Washington.
I'm Gabriele. I'm the co-founder of TimeRepublik. I'm in New York, and I'd love to share some idea and thoughts that I have, and I would love also Dakota a little later to express what he sees in this partnership, because time and time banking and the exchange of time and skills could be applied in so many ways, in so many different creative ways. So I also would love to hear from all of you guys how you see it, how you would like to implement it, if you have suggestions or questions.
Cool.
Okay, hi again. Daniela from Florida, Hollywood. Good seeing you. Thank you for taking the time, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for being here, Daniela.
Thank you.
Pamela says she's ambassador for the Guardian Alliance, and she is in Montreal. And I'm Doron Kutash. I'm in Ventura, California. The Source Network, completing paradise on Earth in the next months to years. Putting all light workers, all humanity together, building out the resource-based economic system for the completion of paradise on Earth. Thank you.
Cool.
Great.
So I want to respond to that inquiry you placed, Gabriela. I think that just in general, collective wealth stewardship is critical if we want to rise out of scarcity as a social population. And what everyone has in excess of is time. Even the poorest people on the planet have relatively as much time as everyone else does. So sharing our time with each other in a way where we're helping one another intentionally, I think, is really important. And it seems like TimeRepublik is very well set up to facilitate large groups of people all exchanging their time with one another. And that's pretty cool. I'm particularly interested in the potential of building perks for trading time. Like how I hear you guys have done with certain city governments, where people can trade their time and then get buildings or have their rent paid, and stuff like that. I think that will kind of build out the time economy a little bit more when we have some systems to not only exchange time with each other, but then potentially to exchange that time for other things. But without it getting too much to be like a currency. I'm kind of interested actually in where you see that, like that line being. Like, what about that, like a time store, or is that too far? What do you think?
it's a few things have to happen before. So let me start with like the 30,000 food vision that we had and that we would like to implement step by step. So basically, the ultimate goal of TimeRepublik, Misty, is to scale empathy, dignity, and trust around the world. So having said that, of course, we cannot do that overnight, and the process is pretty complex. So we try to find out the root of the problem. And a few years ago, we sat down with Karim, who is the other co-founder, is a childhood friend of mine in Switzerland, and we tried to pinpoint the problem. And we realized that today's society, it's set up in a way that everything has turned into a transaction. And that's the big problem. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that money is bad and we want to fight it or replace it. We really think that money is a great tool, it's very efficient, it's seamless and whatever, but it's a terrible tool to build relationships that then can build trust. And so at the core of every challenge that we're facing today, I believe, all the conflicts, like big and small, there is a lack of trust. So I think the priority for us, at least, is to start rebuilding trust between people. Because once you establish trust between, and then I can give you a few examples, between two people, so many more doors are open. And the spectrum of possibilities, once you have trust, it's like so much more than money. And this is actually, money cannot even get close to it. So this is basically the premise behind it. So we said, let's start in building a platform, a community where you take money out of the equation and you just introduce the TimeCoin. TimeCoin is just a fancy name to say that, an hour is equal for everybody. I, provide a service. I spend 2 hours. I'm going to get paid with 2 hours, and we call it TimeCoins. And then I collect it in my virtual wallet, and then I can use this time for any other service I might need. Again, at first, it might look like a service exchange platforms like many others, like TaskRabbit or whatever. But what we're really trying to do is to build relationship between people. And, again, this is the first step. Let's create a platform where people can start exchanging, can get to know each other, and eventually build trust. Everybody needs something. People are using it in many different ways. We have students that are building their portfolios. They're creating experience. Freelancers are using it to save time and money. We have entrepreneurs that actually are using it to time crowdfund. Basically, it's like you can see it as a Kickstarter of time. Basically, you collect time and then you can spend it to develop your projects. And then, we have many different people using, actually we have online creators that are using it to get remunerated for their content. You have a blog, it's very hard today to generate revenue out of ads, Google ads, if you have a blog, because you need so much traffic. So they put the widget, the time widget on their blog, and people basically can donate time. If they go, they read the blog for 15 minutes, they like it, they donate 15 minutes to them. And so this is also the way they've been using it. So as I said, this is the first step. And it's interesting because already we see that we have the issue, which is a luxury issue, that people are using it, they start to exchange time. And then once they establish trust, once they exchange once or twice with each other, once trust is established, they forget to credit or debit the time. So it means that once, you create that connection, then even time is not important anymore. Basically, you become part of the family, and you don't ask for anything. You organically share and give things to other people. So this is more or less what where we are right now, and we can talk a little bit more where we want to be maybe in 5 years. But this is more or less the first step and the first phase. So I see this partnership with ASC pretty meaningful because in a way we complement so much each other, because if you want, we're like this cloud that are like, so, we are in the cloud and we're trying to connect people around the world through the internet, and Dakota's organization is so good to be on the ground. So, and of course we would love to connect the two things because I think they're essential. And if you really want to scale and to create like a a very important movement that can actually change things. The ultimate goal is to really change the world for good. It's really important for us to make meaningful partnership with people that have the same goals. So this is more or less where we are. So I don't want to talk too much. So I don't know if you guys have any feedback on any questions. I would love to respond.
That was a great intro. Thank you for that. I believe in the potential that the system has. There's quite a few obstacles that rest in the conditioned nature of our society-based culture. I think a lot of people are they're very scared, and they're very focused on those transactions. And yeah, I guess the one big question that comes up for a lot of people is, when I post my needs for my time that I've already gained, how easy is it for it to actually become utilized? And I'm curious about that. How many requests go answered in the TimeRepublik bank, and how many don't? Do you have any statistics on that?
Sure. We have basically an average of 5 replies within 24 hours from the request. Of course, not all of them. And as I said, since we are in the cloud right now, most of the requests that require a face-to-face exchange and like a manual labor, if you want, it of course gets less requests, because again, we're pretty thin and pretty wide. We have about 50,000 users now using it in 110 countries. So of course, it's going to be very hard to find people, like a plumber in Siberia, for example. So the most exchanged talents right now are within 4 categories, which is web, media, and design. So if you need a logo, if you need like somebody to help you with setting up a WordPress, any type of like design that can happen online, these are, people are very reactive. They respond very quickly. Translations, or like tutoring via Skype, learning instruments, musical instruments, for example, conversation in other languages. This type of exchange happen pretty often. And then we have like small legal advice. We have many kids that are launching their startup, their app. They're understaffed and under-resourced. They need even just brainstorming. So small legal advice for startups and people that want to start projects. So all these things that can happen online, it doesn't require a lot of face-to-face, or a lot of trust, if you want. They're extremely popular, and people are extremely reactive. So these are the things that are happening right now. As we scale, and we already see that in cities where we have like more than 3,000 users, like Milan or like Rio in Brazil. New York is actually starting. As soon as you grow the community, you immediately see people going on the ground and asking for like yoga lessons, or like massage, or helping somebody to paint the room, and so forth. So I think the critical mass in a localized territory is about 500 users. As soon as you have about 500 users in an area that is between 50 and 75 miles, you see that there is an increase of face-to-face exchanges. So this is, I don't know if I answered your questions, but I would say for those categories, I would say that an average between 4 and 5 requests within 24 replies within 24 hours.
Wow, that is amazing. That is like off the charts. Really cool. I'm excited to share that with a lot of people in this new paradigm movement, because those skills you just listed are some of the most desired for a lot of different groups and people. I'm also pretty interested in building local communities, like city-based or even state-based communities. I'd be curious if you have any ideas for a way to, I guess the incentive for the recruiter to like make these local communities is that they would have a lot of time in them. I guess that's all one needs.
Yes, yeah, and I forgot to answer the question about the municipalities and the perks you were mentioning. Did I interrupt you, or I can talk?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So yes, we have this new module. It's called the group. So what we did for ASC, basically we create a dedicated group, can be closed or open within the bigger community. And the perk for the group is that every member that joins the group collects time, and then the group can use the time to basically find people or engage people in. We'd love to people to use it for social impact activities or activities that are coherent with the vision and the goals of the organization. And so this is working pretty well, because I always say that at the beginning of every project, the capital in terms of cash, if you think about it, is not really necessary, especially for startups or for any project. Of course, it depends. But for most of the projects, you really need labor. You really need people that are actually helping you to do things, services, more than like cash. So this is, as soon as people realize the power of time and they realize that the community is pretty active and they can't wait to help people, they see the power of time and the power of gaining extra time for the group and activate people. In terms of the municipality and perks, what they're doing now, we're actually been testing this model in Italy, in the city of Sarre, which is a small city in the north. It's interesting because the mayor contacted us a few months ago and he told us, listen, Italy we haven't been growing economically for the past 15 years. The state is abandoning many municipalities because it's broke. We don't have any more money for basic needs like collecting the trash, cleaning the green spaces, and helping kids crossing the street at the end of the school and so forth. So he said it would be great if we could collaborate. We could set up a group for us. We invite all the citizens, the group collects time, and then we can use that time to engage the citizens. And now they're engaging them to do the things I just told you. Last week they posted a request because they were asking retirees, people over 60, to actually help go after school to help kids crossing the street. Or they do more like fun project. They decorated the Christmas trees for Christmas. They went out and cleaned like the woods around, or they always ask for volunteers and so forth. They pay with time. The interesting thing that they said, okay, now it's great. We can activate the people, but we would love to give something in return, other than time. And so we came up with this idea. The city of Sarre, like every municipality and local governments, what they have is a lot of physical space that is empty, is vacant, and they can actually rent and then getting remunerated with time. And they're renting it right now for, if you have a birthday party, you can rent a space. If you did like office, or like they're trying to get a co-working space where you can do time. And, or you have an event, a concert, and you need a room and so forth. And also they're looking into, as Dakota was saying, right now, as we speak, actually, they're looking to see if it's doable for people that cannot afford to pay, let's say, a parking ticket, or any ticket that you get. If you're not able to afford to pay with the money, you can try to either pay with time or offer a service to the municipality. So this is pretty interesting, and we're testing this right now. And we're very excited because it's the idea that came from the mayor itself. So we have a lot of support locally, and that's great. And then the next step is to try to do housing as well. So to try to introduce small units, small apartments that can be rented with time. And then eventually the goal, really the ultimate goal, is to be able for the citizen to pay taxes with time or by providing a service to the municipality. So this is what we're doing. And we got a lot of press because of this project in Italy. And now we have 7 municipalities. And we have like Milan and Bologna and Florence, so big municipalities that are very interested in learning more. I'm not saying adopting it, but learning more. So this is extremely interesting because you can start to see local governments adapting to like alternative currency, adapting into reciprocity, adapting to engaging the citizen in a little bit more meaningful way. So this
That's
is
amazing.
yeah, that could happen.
Government-level alliances are so important for us in this revolutionary movement.
And one more thing, sorry if I interrupt. We would like to avoid to give material perks or like cash perks for a couple of reasons. The first one, that you become taxable right away. As soon as you exchange time with anything else other than somebody else's time on a one-to-one level, you start to become taxable. And that's pretty, it's a drag, because you don't want to be shut off from the IRS before you even scale. So it is, and IRS, it's pretty, it's a bad enemy to have, especially in the first phase. And the second phase is the second thing is that as soon as you introduce perks that can be linked to money, since money is so strong and people are so used to use it, it's gonna basically eat up the other portion. And that's, again, we're trying to stay away as much as possible, because we would love to show first the way to people that and convince them that through time exchange, you can have so much more than any other perks, because as I said before, our goal is to establish trust between people. So that's
cool. I've got a couple technical questions for you. Do you guys have an API?
Yes, we do.
So would it be possible and feasible for other websites to integrate your system into theirs?
Yes, it would be possible, not today, in the sense that we actually try to fundraise. We're looking for another round from friends and family and fools and angels, because unfortunately, even though we are a time bank and we use a lot of the time to develop the project, we translated the site in 10 languages. We created our first app with time. We're using a lot of we eat our own dog food, as we say. But on the other hand, we still need some money to survive, because now we are kind of expanding. We have a lot of partnership, and the machine is getting big, and it has some costs. So we need to fundraise. We find a pretty interesting business model that I don't want to talk too much, but I would love to share with you if you're interested. So in the next couple of months, it's going to be hard for us to work on any technical solution in order to implementation and writing codes, because our tech team is basically on standby. So it's there to do bug fixing and emergency things, but we cannot engage them right now into anything more complex than that. But definitely, yes, in the future, it's going to be very possible.
Cool. I would love to collaboratively make some kind of presentation to take to governments and see. I got a handful of friends that have a handful of friends that are presidents and mayors and a couple kings, stuff like that. And if we could make just like a really good setup for why local governments would like to use a system like this.
Yeah, we have a presentation that I can send it to you, and you tell me how it looks. We have a pretty good presentation that shows all the benefits that a municipality can have. Actually, we're doing something now with the city of New Orleans. They launched this contest to try to engage citizens and to solve issues in what they call the disenfranchised population in New Orleans. So we have the presentation, and I would love to share it with you.
Cool. I had another thought too, some kind of like a perk that's not linked to time that we could integrate is education. One particular, the Guardian Alliance is coming to mind. They have a really great consciousness online trading academy. And I bet they would be open to allowing people to trade like 3 or 4 hours of time a month for a subscription, which they could then use to further all of their projects. It makes a lot of sense to me. And in that same way, beyond education, it could even be like, do you know those like, they build these WordPress things where you have to share something to see the next page, or like to unlock content? Could do that same thing. You unlock content with part of a piece of time.
I love the idea. Yes.
Yeah. And at this point, I think I'd like to open it up. We got a couple other people who chimed in. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask myself or Gabriele?
You can also type on the chat if you.
I'm interested in helping TimeRepublik grow, and essentially, Source Network, we've gathered 8,000 Facebook groups of conscious-minded beings around the planet. There's estimated at about tens of millions to hundreds of millions of light workers in the groups. And we've got thousands of Facebook pages and Google Plus communities, thousands of Twitter and YouTube and all the other. So, and so one thing is I would like to promote what TimeRepublik is doing. And another thing is I like to help build out local groups on various platforms. Like what's coming to mind right now is that TimeRepublik should scale out quickly by meetup groups everywhere, coeo.cc, coeo.cc, community connector, local groups everywhere. Group up, we just saw, it'd be great to partner the two together to scale out everywhere. Nextdoor is like the next door neighbors, social network. Craigslist, local groups everywhere. Facebook groups everywhere in every town. Google Plus communities in every town, like to really bring that, infuse that into all social media networks as you plant, I personally have created hundreds of groups for organization in every, I got the whole West Coast, I got a conscious group in the whole West Coast across the country. I just join conscious groups or create them and then prepare for change as a mission. I created hundreds of groups. I even created a directory of the 1,000 or so groups that they have, and then that's where they use the directory that I created. And I did the same thing with Ubuntu. Just a lot of these movements, just to be able to say that there's a group in every city, every state, every country, every continent, just to be able to just create groups really fast is something I do as well. So I'm about that, creating directories and social media every day. I'm sharing to groups that have between 500 to 300,000 people. Every day I'm sharing content, videos, articles, or pictures, and then ASC has tech systems, virality systems as well. So we are all, we're able to build this out. So, and I'd love to get paid, but of course, time that I could use towards Source Network, the Source, and ultimately the Source. Our goal is to support every light worker in every project in the most efficient, effective ways so that we can complete paradise on Earth in the next months to years. So.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, we'll be much more than welcome. And again, right now we don't have money. We cannot pay. We can pay with time. Sure. But if we close this round, we have a budget, not small, but we have a budget for all these marketing activities, and then we can talk about we can start and see how it goes, and then we can talk about more structured partnerships with an hybrid payment system. Because, as I always say, I'm not afraid of talking about money and time at the same time, because we don't want to fight or create the alternative. We really want to offer a complementary system. We believe that money is it's useful for certain things, and unfortunately in the economic map today, the thing that we're trying to measure, which is you can call it social capital, is not part of the picture. So it's we would like to add that in the economical map. So that's why we like to see ourselves as a complementary tool, not really something that wants to replace or fight, because it's a lost battle.
You got it. It's about creating new systems that outdate the old ones and can be used alongside of them until people are like, oh, we don't need the old one anymore. Doron, I wanted to say that the ASC has received about 800 hours of time. I'm interested is there a function so our group as a group can post into the main TimeRepublik setting? Is that a function?
Not yet. We're working on. Now you can post it as the administrator, as Dakota Kaiser, and then you can use the time from the group.
Cool. That's really cool. So Doron, one thing that our campaign kind of lacked, we did use the tech, and I posted into about like 300 groups, and then we bumped it, and that's how we got those 800 hits. So if we did that with 3,000 or 10,000 groups, the results would be exponential. I also could build automation software to post into every part of Craigslist. That'd be pretty easy. We would just need to pick like me a week at a time, and we could do that. The thing is I want to funnel everyone in to like live human connection. That's what we didn't have. I was like too busy doing other things. Our admins are kind of too scattered. We didn't have this like heartfelt connection team. So the first time that someone signs in, they're getting engaged with. I think if we build that first, Doron, this could be one of the most powerful engagement points for us to reach out to people in a way they understand. Because I know the ASC and even the source, we're from outer space. We're from the future. And most normal level consciousness just like takes a look at us and they say, what? But time sharing makes so much sense. That's something that's in our roots. That's in our ancient history. And so it resonates with people in a new way. So makes sense.
Hi, Trevor.
What's up, Trevor?
You slept late, huh?
I'm in California. I'll just introduce myself really quickly. I've been on for, I don't know, since about 9:15. I'm in the West Coast in Pasadena, and Dakota, I'm just like nodding at you. I actually could visualize myself as one of those initial interface people who as soon as someone signed on would be there to greet them and welcome them to the community. I have followed the ASC on Facebook for a number of years. I identify as an indigo and a light worker here in Pasadena, and founded a small empathy-driven micro-volunteering nonprofit called And Then Angels Descended, of which the point was to help end the nation's empathy deficit, which many people don't even know exists. And I'm a huge fan of time banking and have been for years. I'm a even bigger fan of Gabriele and the ASC and TimeRepublik. And I've been struggling to figure out how to best support with my limited resources and skill sets that are not quite a match for where you guys are and what you guys need, to figure out how to be a greater part of what's going on. And Gabriele and I had a Skype session a couple of months ago and offered us one of these groups. So Angels Descended actually has a group where my volunteer angels are able to actually support each other in their micro-volunteering efforts. We're right now working on an elder abuse case, which requires a great deal. But I don't want to disrupt the discussion. I wasn't sure what the framing was for what would be disruptive to include or what not, but I did want to chime in at this moment to tell Dakota that I'm like, yes, oh, that's cool.
Cool, thanks for that feedback.
No, we're open the floor, so it's it's good. You can chime in with any feedback, thought, or suggestions or questions. So thank you very much for
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. I'd love your contact information. If you want to just put your email in the chat here before it closes, I'll send you an email. And we just exited a phase where the work we were doing was very specialized, and we're now like broadening out and regeneralizing. And there's a couple projects we're working on that anyone and everyone can participate in a really fun way.
Well, I'd love to know about it. And Doron, I hope we can get connected on Facebook too, because one of my strong suits has been social media, in particular Facebook. I also used to work for a company that actually did automated real estate postings on Craigslist. So cool. I don't know the technical back-end systems of how exactly that was done. There were just lots of conversations with people in other countries at weird
Got
times.
like 10 seconds left.
We're gonna all get booted.
I was wondering if he was using the same meeting ID. Is he on the free Zoom? Is that what happened? He's on the free, and so the 45-minute limit?
A number of us are still using that free one. So whoever created this.
My organization has the paid Zoom.
Ooh. Well, I've got a call coming up April 19th that you could host. You could sponsor if you'd like.
I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. Of course I would.
We have a core project collaborations conference, which has like 30 humanitarian project creators coming together every month. Yeah, you can come to that. That'd be cool.
I'd be happy to. I think my plan has a limit of 50 members, but we don't have any time limits, and it can record to the cloud. And it's been, I do weekly campfire tribal council meetings with the volunteer group, and so it's great. I had a TV show in the early 90s, and so it has a camp theme from it. So my volunteers, we do this campfire thing. He's back.
I'm back.
Let's see if Dakota comes back or not.
Gabriele, if at any time you want to use a paid Zoom account, our organization has one. So, and you guys actually have a budget and we don't, but I completely understand the notion that as you're scaling and growing, it's not like any individual cost is great. It's just that all these little costs together become this bigger thing. We're dealing with the same thing, but one thing we can't give up is our Zoom. So, let's get you on the 8 account.
It's I think we have because Karim today couldn't make it, and I think we have another app, another site that we actually have a premium account, but I couldn't set it up because I never did it, and Karim couldn't do it today. But thank you very much. Yes.
Of course.
Let me text Dakota and see.
Anybody else want to talk that hasn't talked yet?
I'm an actor, so I can vamp. I can keep talking. There's no problem there.
I just want to thank you for all the information, Gabriele. It's amazing everything that you're sharing. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I always say, and this is not fake modesty, that I think 90% of TimeRepublik is because of people like you that joined. Otherwise, it would just be an idea, up in the air. It's like really what makes TimeRepublik is the community, and it's like every single user that is using it. So it's, you should pat your back more than more than anything. But thank you though.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, the conjunction, all of us as one, right? The willpower. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've really got to invest in an iPad stand. I deal with this every time I have one of my video conferences. A couple of notes on a technical level. What our organization does is literally we take angel requests. So people would go to our website and say, I need an angel. And typically involves someone going through crisis or some situation like that. And they could use someone to listen. They could use empathy, non-judgment, brotherhood, those kinds of things. Feeling connected through this technology that often leaves us feeling tremendously unconnected. And I went through my breakdown and my breakthrough and my spiritual awakening back in 2011 when I became homeless for about a year. I didn't have mental illness. I wasn't a drug addict. I became homeless from a lack of social support networks and a lack of connection. And I began to learn through that experience the barriers to help, which is why this ties in with TimeRepublik. What the barriers are for people to be willing to help someone. And it can be fairly obvious from a homeless perspective. You give them an inch, like, hey, you can come take a shower, and they want to stay, and you can't offer them to stay. But you could have done the shower. You know, you can give this much, and they want the. So there's fear, right? There's all kinds of things. The nice thing about TimeRepublik is it offers a 1-1 ratio exchange. So that particular barrier may not be there. But I spent a year really, really breaking down and analyzing what the barriers are for people to want to help. And of course, people can perceive what TimeRepublik is in a way helping, because even though it's a 1-1 ratio exchange, they're not seeing that tangible money thing that they're used to seeing. And so they might, well, yeah, I'm willing to, they kind of think of it as help. I know that on a technical level, one thing that I think would garner more responses and more engagement is more clarity in the specific asks that happen. Now, of course, there is only so much that as the platform builders can be done, because those are blank data fields for the requester to put in their requests. But I think even if there was a field that could be added to the help request that had an estimate of the time that the requester thinks will take, even that on a psychological level, when you're reaching out to offer help, you know, will this be a 20-minute task? Will this be a 4-hour task? What's the suggested amount? Because we can't necessarily break down all the data fields that make it really specific for some, when they're saying they want help with their WordPress blog. Well, do you need help with content? Do you need help with building? Is it the back end stuff? Do you need conceptual ideas? And all of that is on the person to get really, really specific. But if there's prompting in the website, easy enough to be built, that says, be really, really specific and give an estimate, I think that we might get more engagement on the other side. The more specific the help request, the better. And I think there might be additional ways to
that's a good suggestion. That's good, Trevor. Yes, there is a lot of UX UI that we could implement and better for sure. The other thing I wanted to point out is that actually the biggest challenge that we have today is not to find people to engage in helping somebody, but it's exactly the opposite issue. That people don't post enough requests.
Really?
When somebody posts a request, actually, as I said earlier, the response rate is super high, and people that request between like the most exchanged talents and skills, they get things done. The problem that the issue that we have, and is the exact opposite issue that we thought we would have, is that people don't post enough, and that's, we're trying to pinpoint the problem. And again, it could have been, and then we fixed it a little bit, a problem of usability. That's why we put now the green button. Before it was a little bit hidden, so now we see an increase of requests. But I think there is a more like philosophical, if you want, issue, and is that in today's society, people are afraid to ask something, especially in the social media world. We're so used into showing, for example, Facebook, you know, that is leveraging on this narcissistic, is leveraging on these dynamics that actually show off that you don't need anything, that you're like on a yacht, you're traveling all over the world, you're friends with celebrities and so forth. So there is this stigma that if you ask for something, you're like a loser. So this is something that we're seeing, I think, also in TimeRepublik, and we're trying to work that out. And I think you fix the problem by engaging with already, or partner with communities that already have the same mindset, like you, Trevor, like with Dakota. But yeah, I think there is like a much deeper issue that is much rooted in today's dynamics and today's social media that, you know, are basically eating us up, because it's you probably know better than me what kind of dynamics all these social media are bringing out, and they're not the best. Facebook, of course, it's a great tool. He promised us that he would connect the whole world, and they did, but it stopped right there. They really had the opportunity to do to the next step, and unfortunately they didn't do it yet. But it's a proof that connecting people is just not enough. You have to connect and then force them to do something. So
Yes.
we like to say that TimeRepublik would like to be the Facebook, but with do instead of like. So just do things. That's the only way you can engage. You can create relationship and create something meaningful.
I have a few more thoughts that I want to make. I want to get in if no one else. So, Doron, where are you located?
Ventura, California.
Oh my goodness. I grew up in Chatsworth and lived in Simi Valley for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty close. If there is, at a point in time, my iPad has low battery. If there is a point in time that, you were talking about ground troops and getting established in every community. It sounds like Gabriele probably is going to end up working on a concept for local ambassadorships of some sort or something of that nature. If you need a ground soldier for distributing things in coffee shops or things of that nature, keep me on your radar and on your list for that. There may eventually end up being some kind of, I haven't really talked in great detail with Gabriele. It's kind of one of these long-term kind of things, but Angels Descended wants to have ground troops. Essentially the kid at the end of the block that walks to school every day, the old woman who can't get down her porch steps and her whole world is reading the paper in the morning. That kid walking to school every day can get that paper where the newspaper guy throws it and get it to her porch. And that's an act of empathy, and so there's a tie-in there between tasks that can be done that are empathy related and our angels Descended, ground troops. So I think there's a tie-in there somewhere.
Right. Like groups like yourself, like we could scale your group out every community, just like TimeRepublik should be in every community, just like most of our missions that all of us are doing can be scaled out to every community. So like there's something here where if we just unite all these organizations that have these great causes, and because within the ASC, there's a core group that we meet regularly. There's a street team group, and we're planning like tours, like up the coast and across the country and back, tours for this summer, and to be able to collect materials from your organization and Peace, Love, and Unity, and Infinite Love in Motion, and the Awakening Sovereignty Collective, and the Source Network, and all of our organizations' materials. And then TimeRepublik would definitely be something we could even like lead with TimeRepublik as like we're crossing the country. We want to establish TimeRepublik time banks. The virtual global time bank is already here. There's time banks everywhere already. We want to connect them all together in a virtual global platform. And when there's no money in America, that's when we can reboot, restart, reset, everything.
Absolutely. And I think the power,
Trevor.
Gabriele saw.
Sorry to interrupt. There is Nira Daramari that is asking a question because your internet is not so good. So after you're done, Trevor, let's read her question and then let's try to reply.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I think one of the things that's so great about Gabriele's the vision and the having the groups is that each organization can build their groups, and eventually everyone is already in TimeRepublik as a whole, and they're in their subgroups. But I think one of the really great ways that I think that you're kind of referring to, Doron, is all these time banks get their own group going and the synergies of that group. And they're already in TimeRepublik, but eventually, because it's easier for them to see the connection and the give and take within their own group, eventually all the groups go away. I mean, eventually, right, they all fall into the whole pool. And they're already in the pool, but I think there is that power of, I need more coffee, the power of the group that will enable that kind of ground tour to happen. because it gives people their own sense of they're not losing their organizational identity and they're not being absorbed by another one, you know? So yeah, I'm fully on board with that.
Thank you, guys. So I don't know if you guys see the chat and if you can read the question. And basically, she's saying right now, being very isolated, running a micro ashram in rural India for a charity work. This is a real reach out for me. What I have to offer, I'm not sure if that's viable here. My internet is really fuzzy right now, so she cannot really hear us very well. So basically, she's already been involved in a local time bank and in a very informal time network. And right now, she would like to, I guess, help to running this micro ashram. So I would be more than glad to speak to you if you cannot hear us very well, because hi, and I'll be also available to talk to you just on Skype. So maybe the connection is going to be better, and I can better explain how the group works and our dynamics. And we would be more than glad to do something with you as well. I don't know, you guys, if you had any similar experiences and if you have something to share with Nirandara Marie.
You can call me Nira. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
And Dakota probably, Dakota is the guy who really worked in all sorts of communities, of physical communities. So I'm sure he has something to share with you. I don't know if he's still on, but yeah, maybe you introduce yourself and explain a little bit more about your project.
Okay. Well, right now I'm in India. I've been here for 10 years, and I'm pretty much the only foreign person here offering what I'm doing. I think I just clicked out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, all the visuals just went out. Okay, so yes, you can see I don't speak very much to people. I'm really out here on my own. So I thought, well, I've been part of a couple of different time banks. One that was in Ireland, a quite organized one, and in the States, in Massachusetts, I lived in a really small networked community, which just very informally networked in this way many years ago. So I'm familiar with this whole how it works. It's not foreign to me, but I just haven't had really good internet connection for a long time. I actually offer the only free open Wi-Fi in the town here. So, the Wi-Fi is so poor around here that nobody can really make a business of it to have a Wi-Fi cafe. So I have a library here of Vedantic books, and I'm a yoga instructor, yoga teacher. I can offer that. I also teach some a fire ritual, which is taught on the platform of agricultural environmental advocacy. So I don't know, exactly. It's a very niche audience. I don't know really who's interested in this sort of thing, but that's what I do. And I always need help with things technical, things like that. Not very techy.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, TimeRepublik is great for that if you need any tech stuff. If you have talents that are like niche, as you say, and you cannot offer it and you cannot collect time, there is another way to collect time on TimeRepublik, and it's by inviting other people to join the community. So for every person, and we have a page, the invite page, that is set up pretty simple, that you can share links on your social media, or you can contact them directly via email. And then if people register through that link, you automatically gain half an hour, and the person that joins 15 minutes. So we're basically gifting time if you help us grow the community. If you're having hard time to do that as well, please talk to me, send me an email. And as I said at the beginning, we're not so concerned in printing time right now and having like an overflow of hours, because since it's such a closed system and the hours are used to actually activate people that help other people, it's not a big deal, because it's not like printing money that you can use money in 100 ways, and you can like speculate on it and gamble. You know, here we're not so concerned in printing money, at least in the first phase. So if you need extra time because you cannot either invite people, you cannot offer your service, please reach out to me, and then we will be glad to donate time to you.
I can invite people. I actually do have networks that can invite people.
Do you have a website or anything?
I do. Can I put it in your box, or should I just say it?
Yes, you can send their website, because also we have a widget. Basically, it's a button like the donate time from PayPal. I don't know if you're familiar with those widgets. It's just an HTML code you copy and paste in your website, and then people can donate time to you directly through that widget. And of course, they need to be registered on TimeRepublik, but if they click on the button, they're not registered.
I'm really interested in that widget. I'll put that on, well, this website, I'll put it on my ashram website. That might be better, not my personal one.
And see how it goes. And then, you know, please feel free to reach out to me, and then we can organize a Skype call if you have any questions.
And that second link is my ashram website.
Okay.
It's probably more appropriate. I could put it on both, but definitely I'd put it on the second one.
Great. So, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
I could definitely see you being like the center of a very thriving community of time bankers, and you already are doing it. So, and you have the internet, so everybody around you, you know, offers their skills on Time Bank, and then accumulates so many hours. You just keep inviting everybody in your community, and it just keeps growing out to the communities beyond your community. And it's just like you have like 100,000 hours of, you know, everybody in your area in India there. I can see it like spiraling out so big, so fast. And then, you know, there's things you can't get locally that you can get globally from the time bankers around the world. And then there's also everybody in your community will be interacting a lot more, and yeah.
Well, I'm also an ordained interfaith minister. I might not have even put that on my profile because I'm not really much using it here. But I do have a pretty good network of people around the world who are doing these same things, yoga and interfaith ministry. So maybe on a more local level, they would be more useful than I would be out here.
Sure.
In the middle here.
I think John just joined. Hi, John.
Hi, you all right? Nice to meet you. How are you doing? I'm
Good.
trying to get online. I've not much data on my phone at the moment. I'm trying to join through a friend's laptop.
Okay. We have you know, if you have like 30 seconds to introduce yourself, it would be great.
Yeah, I'm John Kane. I've been working with Plasma Technologies, now Kesh Magrav, and developing that technology. I put a request in, I think, from a link. I'm a member of the Guardian Alliance. We had them, Apollo and the guys, and I'm being pushed out at the moment. I'm out of my house. I'm getting low on money and things. I've been targeted a bit. I'm going through court issues, numerous things going on to try and stop me getting forward. I've got a YouTube channel with some of the technology working, and perpetual motion and plasma fields with AC and things like that.
Please share them on the chat if you wish.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to try, and I've sent you a friend's request to Doron. I think that's where I sent the link through, and I may have to do it later. I'm low on gigage on me on this phone, so I may have to just come straight off. I'll try and log on, but it's saying it's unrecognized because they've set me up a false Facebook account, because I've been putting technology through Facebook and drawn a lot of attention on it. Really, I've been a bit forward in trying to get the knowledge out, and attracted attention from local council, the people who don't want things to come out so fast, and they're making it hard work for me at court with my kids at the moment. They're using my kids to get to me. So, yeah, that's just a quick update, guys, because I'm probably going to have to drop out, and then I will catch up and try and I'm keen to help and get the planet cleaned up and get these help get things on track.
Okay, good. Stay positive.
Sorry?
Stay positive.
I know I'm trying. I am. I'm still trying to smile, and I'm staying centered. I've been meditating, but you know, I've seen them trying to set me up for things on the other side as well. So yeah, watch
So
this space.
you're on TimeRepublik, right? You're on the Awakening Sovereignty group, collective group, right?
Yeah, I think I am on that one. Yeah.
So, reach out to me and start following me, and then you can, you know, we can. I'd love to help you with your challenges if you need. So we can share our skills from there.
What's your name, Gabriele? Your second name, sorry. I can see D.
Donati, D-O-N-A-T-I. I'm going to write in the chat.
Oh, okay, I'll just D-O-N-H-I. Thank you, Gabriele.
So I have 5 minutes, and then I have to disconnect. You know, I take this time to really thank you all for participating. We're gonna try to do these webinars more often. We know weekly. We have a lot. Weekly would be great.
Let's turn it into a show.
The biggest challenge is that we have a global community, so to find a time zone that it works for everybody on a weekly basis is pretty much impossible. So we will need to do 5 weekly webinars. But you know, we're trying our best. Again, I think there is no better way to know each other and to really learn the potential of all of us. Of course, on a face-to-face, but you know, at least on a webinar is so much better than anything else. So you know, I really thank you all for participating. And again, I'll be available to talk to you on a one-to-one level on Skype or over the phone. So just reach out to me on TimeRepublik or via email, and then let's go from there. You know, let's change the world one by one.
So we are.
Thank you, Gabriele.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Dakota. I don't know if you have some closing thoughts or if you guys want to continue. But
I think now is a good time to close. I think my closing thoughts are for anyone who's interested. Why don't you? Here, I'm going to drop a link in here. Go here and register for our Slack. And our Slack is hosted at that website I'm about to put in right there. Make sure you click on this before the chat closes. And for those that are interested, we're going to start doing weekly meetings for this and engagement. Just like really posting requests and like facilitating requests and then reaching out through social media. Because basically between Doron and I, we could get like 5,000 signups a month. It's just that if me and Doron are going to dedicate our resources this way, then those signups need to like actually do something, and we're able and capable of doing that. So we need help, Doron and I, with engaging people as they come in. So if the people here wanted to be part of that, let's meet weekly. Let's make it happen. Let's create some systems and some social structures and make agreements and show up and play together in a powerful way. That's what I'd like to end this note on.
Great. So make sure Doron, you contact me and we talk further about that.
How can I contact you?
I'll link you guys together.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to look you up, but come up a lot of people with your name. I could not really find.
On TimeRepublik?
TimeRepublik. Let me go there. I'll look it up.
Okay. Or I'll send you. I'm gonna put my email here address for everybody. Oh.
I could see.
That's my email address, and then we can.
I could see like we have like a volunteer list where every hour we have a welcome, session for like new members that come through TimeRepublik or through the ASC or the stores or any of our organizations. We can have like a collective welcome training, where we each volunteer an hour once in a while to say, welcome, hello, new 10 members of all of our groups. Here's some things, some resources, and how to play in our in our sandbox to set up something like that would be cool.
Great. Okay, everybody.
I'm definitely interested in that's something that I certainly could do for sure. So I'd love to be part of that discussion, Doron.
Cool. All right.
Bye, everybody. Thank you very much. Trevor,
Bye.
we'll
Thank
talk
you.
soon. Bye-bye.
Peace. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Love you all. God bless you.